My beloved child, pause for a moment. Do not rush after the noise of the world, nor let your heart be swept into the hurried rhythm of fear and worry. Be still, for it is in that stillness that I am calling you. My voice does not resound amid clamor or dazzling light, but like a gentle breeze, brushing your soul like the first drop of morning dew falling upon a tender petal, like the soft breath of a pure dawn. Stop for a moment, for the time appointed for you is turning toward a new path. The old season is closing, and I am opening for you a new beginning. My child, have you ever realized that every breath you take carries a message, that each morning you awaken is not a repetition, but a fresh opportunity from me? I have always been there in every moment. You thought you were alone in every tear you believed was wasted. I have never been distant. My silence is not abandonment, but an invitation for you to listen more deeply. And now I whisper again to your heart. Listen to me, for your time is changing. Do not fear. I am not speaking of the end of your life, but of the beginning of a new season. A season where you will say goodbye to the old, not with sorrow, but with gratitude. For everything that has passed holds value. Old wounds, past failures, shattered dreams, all are the foundation stones I have used to build your spirit. Some pains you thought were punishment were in truth my hands skillfully shaping you into my likeness. My beloved, do you remember Joseph, the one sold into slavery, forgotten in prison, yet later raised to rule all Egypt? His path was not random nor easy, but every hardship prepared him for the moment I had destined. In the same way, I am preparing you not for suffering, but for unveiling. Your quiet years are not meaningless. They are the time I have been carving and refining you, so that when you step forth, my light will shine through you in its purest form. I know there were nights you laid your head down in despair and asked, Lord, where are you? In all this I was there. I was in your breath, in the beating of your heart, in every tear that fell. You thought I was silent, yet I was listening. You thought I was far, yet I was nearer than ever. When you ceased relying on your own strength, that was when you began to rely on me. And just when you thought you had lost everything, you were standing closest to the miracle. My dear, do not resist the change that is coming. Your time in the old season has been fulfilled. It is time to step into a new journey, not one of fear, but of trust. I am calling you out of your comfort zone, away from the familiar that once soothed you, but also held you captive. Do not cling to what is past, even if it once brought comfort. For if you keep holding on, your hands will not be free to receive the new I have prepared. I do not come to take away what is good, but to give what is better. I do not bring loss but fullness, like the gardener who prunes fruitful branches not out of disdain, but to bring forth greater abundance. I am pruning your life not to wound you, but to make you flourish. Do not fear when I take away the old, for my hand has never made a mistake. When Moses stood before the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army behind and the deep waters before I made a way where there was none, I will do the same for you, my beloved. You do not need to understand how I work, only to believe that I will. When you place your trust in me, doors will open, chains will break, and mountains will be leveled. Lift your head, child. Look upon me, the one who governs the universe in perfect order. I never let your time go to waste. Every breath you take is within my design. When you think you are late, you are actually right on time in heaven's calendar. For I, the Lord your God, do all things in their appointed time. Not a single tear you shed escapes my count. Not one sigh goes unheard. Not one prayer is forgotten. Now let me place my hand upon your heart. Let my spirit reach the deepest places within you, where fear once bound you, where wounds remain unhealed, where disappointment left its mark. I am healing you. I am lifting invisible burdens from you. Let go. Allow me to renew your spirit, for only when you release your grip can I take hold. Only when you stop can I lead. Only when you are still can I speak. My child, this is a sacred moment. A cycle is closing and a new one is beginning. Just as the dawn dispels the night, your appointed time draws near. Prepare your heart, for I am about to pour out what you have never seen. Be ready to be transformed, ready to be lifted higher to the place where my light surrounds you, where you will see the true meaning of all that is past. I call you by name. I speak to your very soul. Rise, beloved one, for I am doing a new thing, and you are a part of it. Step out of the shadows, out of fear, out of the old ways. Let your footsteps mark the path I have prepared. And as you walk, do not look back, for behind you is the past, but before you is glory. My beloved child, walk on, for the old season has closed. Your time in the former land is complete. A new era is unfolding, no longer a season of suffering, but of revelation. No longer a time of hiding, but of unveiling. Hear my voice as it resounds. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, do you not perceive it? Isaiah 4:3-9. And just as sunlight pierces through the morning mist, my word will break through every cloud of doubt within you. You will see more clearly, hear more deeply, and understand that I have never left you. Believe this, your life is not ending, it is being reborn. Open your heart, beloved, for this is the season of transformation, and I myself am its beginning. Now is the time for you to learn the art of a sacred farewell. Not a bitter goodbye, nor a proud severing, but a gentle right, a moment when you lay the old before me as a child places the first sheaf of harvest upon the altar. The farewell I invite you into does not deny your history, nor reject what you have lived through. Rather, it looks upon the past with grateful eyes, bows in reverence, and steps through the open door. For only when your hands are empty can you receive what I am giving. My child, begin by letting silence speak for your heart. In stillness, you will hear a rhythm deeper than the turbulence of memory. There are habits woven into your days like roots threading through stone. There are careless words from others that have become tiny nails, rusted with time, yet still piercing. There are words you once spoke to yourself, hasty vows in the dark that have now become invisible chains. I invite you to remove them. Name each one as Abraham named every altar he built along the way, to remember that the Lord was present through every transition. Name them and return them to me. You no longer have to hold them. I know there are things you wish to forget but cannot. I do not ask you to erase memory. I ask you to transfer its ownership. When memory belongs to fear, it enslaves. When memory belongs to me, it becomes testimony. Bring me every fragment of your remembrance, the unfinished paths, the half-mended relationships, the unspoken apologies, the doors that slammed without goodbye. I will lay my hand upon each piece and give it a new name. As I renamed Jacob and called him Israel, so will I rename what once made you bow your head. Pain shall be called refinement. Loss shall be called release, and waiting shall be called planting. My beloved, I do not ask you to flee from the past, but to walk out from under its power. There is a subtle difference here. To flee is to turn away, but to walk out is to look straight ahead and pass through with my hand in yours. As my people crossed the Jordan when the waters were high, so shall you cross the very place that once made you hesitate. You will leave the old shore without abandoning yourself. You will step onto the new without losing compassion for what is behind. When they crossed, they carried stones from the riverbed to build a memorial. So too gather stones of remembrance, not to return, but so that when you see them, you will know that grace has followed you until this day. My child, some burdens you carry seem righteous, yet they are merely heavy. Some roles you cling to come not from calling, but from fear of failure. When you live to repay the past, you will grow weary. When you live from grace, you will be free. I have not called you to be the perfected version of yesterday, but the faithful one of today. Therefore, let me remove the old armor, the one woven of expectation, judgment, self-condemnation, rivalry, and defense. Let me clothe you with the light garment of a child, simple, steady, and at peace. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone, behold, the new has come. That is not just a verse, it is the reality I am performing in you even now. You ask me, Lord, how do I let go? Begin with forgiveness. Forgiveness does not erase memory. It hands the verdict over to my justice. When you forgive, you do not call wrong right. You open the door for my light and order to enter. Forgive others and also forgive yourself. Quiet the voice of accusation within, for that voice has never come from me. I correct with the fire of love, not the whip of shame. Let me extinguish the flame of self-condemnation, so that your soul may be still enough to hear my gentle whisper. Then undo the secret vows you once bound upon yourself. I will never trust again. I will never dream big again. I will never let anyone hurt me again. These may seem like protection, but they are thorns around the garden of your soul. Let me be the keeper of your garden. I will guard its gate, and you may open your heart. For the heart was made to love, not to lock itself away. When you were wounded, you built walls. Today, build markers with me instead. Walls reject, but markers remember. Walls block the light, markers guide the way. Let me turn your fears into monuments of gratitude. My child, return to me the right to determine outcomes. As long as you try to control results, you will remain weary. Faith is not forcing the future into your design, but entrusting the future into my hands. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That is the key. Rest comes not when all is perfect, but when you release control. Learn to walk step by step, faithful with what is before you, surrendered with what lies beyond. Do not let delay dull your zeal, nor detours make you doubt your calling. I go before you, and behind you, surrounding you in unending embrace. Let your practice become prayer. Tonight, place a blank sheet before you and write 3 things you need to say goodbye to. Write them as an offering, clear, honest, tender. Then read them aloud before me, not for my hearing, for I knew before you spoke, but for your own, that you may hear yourself choosing freedom. Afterward, tear the paper and release it into fire or water as you wish. And when the ashes fade or the paper dissolves, whisper softly, I return it to you, Lord. It is a small act, but it teaches your body and soul to walk with your spirit. You will be surprised by the lightness that follows. Beloved, do not fear the emptiness that follows release. Emptiness is not absence, it is the space of creation. Just as the soil rests after plowing to let the rain soak in, so your soul needs stillness for grace to sink deep. Do not rush to fill it with noise or busyness. Keep a pocket of silence each day. A few minutes will do, where you breathe deeply and call my name. Your breath is the bridge. With each inhale you receive life. With each exhale you release the weight. I am that near within your chest between 2 breaths. And remember, my child, farewell is not weakness. It is the courage of one mature in faith. To lower your sword is not surrender. It is to receive the shepherd's staff. I lead you on the path of those who are gentle yet strong, humble yet unshaken. Micah 7:8 says, Do not gloat over me, my enemy. Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light. Do you see, even darkness has no right to define you. You belong to the light, and that light is growing within you. Look at Ruth, my child. She left Moab, letting go of old securities to follow a promise she could not yet see. Her path was not lined with glory, but with simple faithfulness. Yet on that humble road I wove her into the lineage of the Messiah. So it will be with you. Today's quiet farewell will open doors you cannot yet imagine. I do great things through small obediences. Never despise a single step, a single act of forgiveness, a morning prayer, or a cup of tea. Sip slowly in my presence. These small things weave together into great seasons. You ask, what if others never change? My child, your freedom does not depend on the change of others. I invite you to step into freedom today through my power. When you lay down the right to fix people, you will receive the grace to love them rightly. True love does not excuse darkness, but neither does it keep a record of wrongs. Hand the ledger to me. I am the righteous judge. I am also the merciful Father. I know how to balance justice and compassion in ways you cannot. Let me do my part. You do yours to love, to pray, to be patient, and to guard the boundaries of your soul. Then you will look back and realize this: your farewells did not take away your identity, they returned you to it. You are not the sum of past events. You are one who has been called by name. You are not merely a survivor, you are a witness. You are not simply one who has been wounded, you are anointed to heal. From now on, when you think of yourself, do not speak in the language of failure, speak in the language of covenant. Speak as a child speaks to a father, not as a servant pleads to a master. The words you use will carve the path you walk. My child, one sign that you have truly said goodbye is when you can bless your yesterday. Not bless what was wrong, but bless the fact that I was there even in what went wrong. When you can thank me for the lessons learned, for the patience borne, for the compassion widened, for the eyes that learned to see beyond the immediate, then you have lifted your anchor from the old harbor. And you will see the water shift its color, the wind change its direction, the birds gather into formation, and beyond the valley, a misted field opens. Now take my hand. Together we will walk to the water's edge. You will hear the sound of waves striking stone, that is time passing by. You will step into the cool stream, that is the baptism of memory. You will lift your face, that is the sign of one who is free. When you rise onto the new shore, I will place in your hand an olive branch, the symbol of peace with yourself, with others, and with tomorrow. Farewell will no longer be a sob, but a benediction. We will meet again in another dawn, in another form, when all things are made new. My beloved child, hear my final words for this passage. Do not be afraid. Those 2 words will be the staff that carries you through the valley. I am with you. These 4 will be the shade that shelters you in the heat of noon. Walk softly but firmly. Speak little but truthfully. Choose small things but remain steadfast. You are not alone in this sacred art of letting go. My Spirit is your gentle teacher, guiding you in each movement to breathe, to open, to release, to receive. Today you have dismantled the planks of the old bridge. Tomorrow I will show you the new one. And on a morning not far from now, you will realize your feet stand upon the promised land and your heart calm, radiant, and wide beats in rhythm with eternity. Be at peace, my child. The holy farewell has begun in stillness, and at the end of this path dawn awaits. I hold your hand. I keep you close. I crown your head with kindness. And when you whisper, I am ready, heaven will answer, depart. My beloved, now that you have bid farewell to the old season, listen to the new rhythm rising within your soul. It is the pulse of rebirth, gentle, yet powerful, like sap coursing through a tree after a long winter. You are no longer the person of yesterday, you have been renewed. What I am beginning in you is not repetition but creation, a new dance of my spirit upon the fields of time. Do not try to return to where you were. Step forward, for before you lies an uncharted land where the seeds of faith will break forth among what once seemed impossible. My child, beginnings rarely arrive with the sound of drums. They come in silence. Just as I spoke, let there be light into the vast emptiness, so your new beginning arises from the quiet of trust. You will feel fragile, unready, but it is in that very fragility that my strength is revealed. Do not wait until you feel brave to step forward, for courage does not precede faith, it flows from it. Joshua saw the Jordan part only after he stepped into it. so too you will see the miracle unfold only after you dare to take the first step. My child, I am teaching you to live not by sight, but by faith, for you will no longer be guided by the familiar signs of the old season, but by the inner light kindled by my Spirit. You will find yourself walking through lands where old maps no longer apply, where the only compass is my word. But remember, I never lead into darkness. If you hear my voice, even as softly as a breeze brushing through leaves, know that it is the sign of a new path. Follow peace, for peace is my signature amid the noise of the world. My child, do not fear when I cut you away from the old branches. Everyone I call must pass through separation to enter the new. Abraham left his homeland to become the father of nations. Moses left the palace to lead my people to the promised land. Peter left his nets to shepherd souls. And you too are called to leave what once felt safe, not because I want you to lack, but because I want you to overflow, not only in provision but in spirit. I do not take away, I transform. What you think is loss is merely being reshaped into a greater blessing. Believe that no step with me is ever wasted. Even on days when you cannot feel my presence, you are still covered by my hand. I am still writing your story with pens unseen. Do not let delay make you doubt, for what you call delay is what I call preparation. I am never late. I come when your heart is tender enough to receive grace without losing humility. My child, let me mold you, for only in my hands can clay become form. Beloved, a new beginning is not just a change of scenery, it is a change of heart. If your heart remains the same, you will carry old wounds into new lands. That is why I am cleansing your soul, washing away the dust of doubt, fear, and comparison. Let the water of my word flow through your mind like a clear stream after the rain. Do not try to understand every detail of my plan, for you cannot. Simply know that my plans are always good, and they are moving even when you cannot see them. Stop asking why, and begin asking for what purpose. When you change your question, you will begin to see the light. Micah 7:8 says, "Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." This light does not blaze from outside, but rises from within. It is the light of understanding that every fear you once held is now being used by me to mature you. I do not only want you to survive, I want you transformed. Do not rush to escape the process. Let the process become the place where I am glorified. For when you choose to trust amid uncertainty, that is when your faith blooms, and that very flower will become the fragrance that guides the wandering home. My beloved child, know this: a new beginning is not a moment, it is a journey. It is the succession of days in which you learn to walk step by step with me, sometimes in light, sometimes through mist, but always in my presence. Walk slowly, for I am never in a hurry. Let each day be a small yes, for many small yeses will weave into a great miracle. When you awaken each morning, say, "Lord, today I choose to believe." And when night falls, say, "Lord, today I have lived in your hands." That is how you build your life, upon the rock, not upon the sand. I see you, my child. I know the weight of your worries and the questions you dare not speak aloud. But I tell you this, do not fear smallness. It is I who choose the small to accomplish the great. From the tiniest mustard seed I bring forth the tallest tree. From Mary's humble yes I brought forth the Savior of the world. You do not need to be mighty to be used by me. You need only to be faithful. When you are faithful in the little, I will entrust you with the greater. When you are faithful in the quiet days, I will set you upon the hill of glory. And remember, my child, do not forget joy. Many begin their new journey with fear, but I want you to begin with joy. For joy is the evidence of freedom. It does not come from circumstance, but from the assurance that you are exactly where I want you to be. Rejoice even before you see the outcome, for joy itself is a sign of faith. Like Paul, who sang in prison, like David, who danced before the Ark of the Covenant, so too sing in the midst of your journey. For you do not sing because of what you see. You sing because of whom you know. And I, the one you know, never break my promises. Understand this, beloved. This new beginning is not for you alone. Through you, I am beginning something new for others. When you walk forward, others will find courage to do the same. When you dare to believe, others will dare to hope. When you are healed, others will learn forgiveness. I have chosen you to be the stream through which my grace flows. Therefore, walk with gratitude, for every step you take becomes a living testimony of my faithfulness. Now close your eyes and take a deep breath. My child, feel my breath mingling with yours. That is the sign that you never walk alone. I am in you, with you, and leading you home. Open your eyes, not the eyes of flesh, but of faith. See the path ahead beginning to glow faintly at first like a small flame in the fog. That is my light, and it will never fade. My child, I speak to you. Behold, I make all things new. The past has flowed away like a river. The future spreads before you like an open field. Do not look back nor fear what lies ahead. Let your heart grow soft, so that my grace may inscribe upon it new things. And as you walk, know that each step is a song, each breath a prayer, each new day a proof of the miraculous. For I, the living God, am in your midst, and I will never leave you. My beloved, as you enter this new chapter of your life, you will discover that light and fire often walk together. Light reveals, but fire transforms. Light guides, but fire shapes. No one can bear my glory without first passing through the furnace of refinement. Just as gold cannot shine without melting, so your soul must be refined in the fire of testing to reflect the beauty I have placed within. Do not fear the fire, my child. It does not come to destroy, but to purify. It does not come to consume, but to form. In my hands, fire is not an enemy. It is the tool of restoration. I know, my child, that fire hurts. I know there are nights you have knelt trembling, wondering why I allow the trial to linger. You have asked, Lord, what did I do wrong? But I say to you, it is not because you have done wrong, but because you have been chosen. My fire does not touch what I do not value. It refines what I desire to make pure. When I allow flames to reach your life, it is because I know you can endure, and more than endure, you will shine. Remember, the enemy can only touch what I permit, and all that I permit serves my purpose. No flame is allowed to touch you without my hand near it. Look, my child, at my servants in Scripture who walked through fire. David was betrayed by those closest to him, yet in the wilderness he learned to hear my voice. Joseph was sold into slavery, yet in the darkness of prison I gave him vision beyond his chains. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into a blazing furnace, but it was there in the fire that I appeared among them. In the midst of the flames, a fourth figure stood that was me. And when they emerged, not a hair was singed, only their bonds were burned away. Do you see, my child? My fire does not burn your soul. It burns the things that bind it. It does not destroy. It sets free. Each time my fire touches you, you think you are losing something, but you are being refined. That flame consumes pride, complacency, and false security. It teaches you to recognize your true foundation. When every support falls, you will find the one unshakable truth that I remain. When you lose what you thought you could not live without, you will discover that I alone am enough. And when your hands are empty, you will know the treasure of having me in your heart. My fire does not take from you, it gives you back to yourself, to the purpose for which you were created. Let the fire do its work, my child. Do not flee while I am forming you. Like a potter turning the wheel, I am shaping your soul until it reflects my love. I do not stop midway, nor do I abandon my creation. Every turn, every pressure, every small crack has meaning. At times I soften you with tears, then let you dry in the winds of trial, only so that in the end you may become a vessel worthy of my anointing. You are not forgotten in the furnace, you are being remade. My child, remember this, I never let you fight alone. In the fire I stand with you. When the heat feels unbearable, I am the cool breeze that surrounds you. When you think you can no longer endure, I place my hand upon your shoulder and say, you can continue, for my strength is within you. Know that my power is not revealed through easy victories, but through steadfast hearts in the midst of trial. Each time you choose to believe in adversity, an angel records that story in the chronicles of heaven. My beloved, I want you to see your trials with new eyes. Do not regard them as signs of abandonment, but as evidence of love. For I discipline those I call my children. If I let you walk through fire, it is because I am preparing you for greater responsibility. No one can wear a crown without first carrying a cross. No one can lead without having first served. No one can comfort without having first known sorrow. Just as Jesus walked through Golgotha before ascending to glory, so must you learn the lesson of surrender before entering revelation. My child, do not ask me when the fire will cease. Ask what it is meant to teach while it still burns, for when the lesson is complete, the fire will extinguish itself. Fire does not burn forever. It only burns long enough to consume what must be consumed. When gold is refined, the smith quenches the flames, once he can see his own reflection in the metal. So it is with you when I look upon you and see my image reflected clearly. I will know the work is done. The purpose of the fire is not to harm you, but to make you more like me. In your hardest days, seek refuge in my word. Each verse will be cool water to your weary soul. When you cannot pray with words, pray with tears, for I understand that language. When you no longer have strength to sing, be still in my presence, for I will sing over you. When you are weak, I am strong within you. When you are exhausted, I will carry you each step of the way. And when you think you are lost, my light will still illuminate the path. The fire may surround you, but it cannot consume you, for you belong to me. I tell you this, beloved, do not fear the burning. The fire does not come to destroy, but to cleanse. When you feel discomfort, it is the sign that the old is being separated from your soul. The layers you once mistook for your identity are cracking open so that the true self I created may emerge. Let me burn away everything that does not belong to me: bitterness, pride, doubt, and fear. Let me purify you completely, so that from the ashes of your past, you may rise like pure gold, like a precious jewel in my kingdom. My child, remember this: no flame is wasted, no trial is meaningless. I am the one who works all things together for your good. When the fire subsides, you will look back and see where you thought you lost, you were found. Where you thought you were abandoned, you were carried. Where you thought you had fallen, you were strengthened beyond measure. For the fire does not merely teach survival, it teaches wholeness. And when you emerge from the furnace, your eyes will be different. They will hold the depth of one who has met me in the fire. Your voice will be different. It will carry the tone of one who has tasted great grace. Your presence will be different, because others will see my light shining through you without your saying a word. You will become a living testimony to the world that there is still a God who acts, who turns ashes into glory, and who uses trials to raise up those who carry the radiance of heaven. My beloved child, the fire is only the prelude to restoration. It is the opening chapter of the harvest to come. Do not mourn what has burned. Give thanks for what remains. For what endures after the fire is the purest part, the portion I desire you to carry into the next season. Let the light within you be magnified by the very fire that once tested you. And when you emerge, I will crown your head with the victor's crown, not because you were strong, but because you allowed me to finish my work within you. Remember this: the fire will pass, but the glory will remain. The trial will end, but your faith will endure. And amid the ashes you will hear my whisper: my child, you have stood firm. Now rise, your new season has come. My beloved, There will be moments in life when everything around you seems to collapse at once. One door closes, and the next does not yet open. Those you trusted walk away, and plans you built with care crumble into dust. You lower your head and sigh, asking, Lord, why do you allow everything to fall apart? But listen carefully. My child, I do not break to destroy, I break to rebuild. The storm does not come to end your life. It comes to begin a new era. The tempest is not a sign of my absence. It is proof that I am drawing near. For only through the whirlwind can I uproot the decayed roots you have clung to for too long. I know the storm frightens you. The pillars you once leaned on are collapsing. What seemed solid now proves fragile. Yet, my child, without shaking, you would never know what truly stands firm. The storm does not take away what belongs to me. It only exposes what was false. When the wind rises, the dry leaves scatter, but the seeds remain. When the waters surge, the debris floats away, but the rock is revealed. Do not weep over what the storm removes, for if it can be taken, it was never meant to be your foundation. Remember, I am the God of the wind and the waves. No storm is beyond my command. I am the one who speaks. Be still, and the sea obeys. Yet I am also the one who allows the storm to rise when it is needed. The storm you face is not a sign of failure, it is the mark of transition. Like a potter who breaks an unfinished vessel to shape it anew, I am remaking you. I do not patch a leaning wall, I rebuild from the ground up. For I do not desire your survival alone. I desire your transformation. You ask, Lord, why didn't you stop the storm before it began? My child, if I did, you would never discover the strength I placed within you. Storms teach what calm seas never can. In still waters you may praise me with your lips, but in crashing waves you learn to worship me with your soul. The storm is the classroom of faith, where you learn to trust even when everything says you cannot. When you lose direction, you learn to look up. When you have nothing left to hold, you learn to hold on to me. My beloved, do you remember when the disciples were with me in the boat? The wind roared, the waves crashed, and they cried out in fear, Teacher, we are perishing. Yet I rose, lifted my hand, and said, Peace, be still. Immediately the sea grew calm. Then I turned to them and asked, Why are you afraid? Where is your faith? Do you see? My child, I did not rebuke them for the storm, but for their fear in the midst of it. So today I ask you the same. Where is your faith? You do not wait for the storm to pass to believe you believe, so the storm will pass. For when faith stands firm, the storm must bow. I do not promise to silence every wind, but I promise that every wind will submit to my authority. Every wave the enemy raises will become the very vessel that carries you to the place I have destined. Like Jonah, who was thrown into the sea and thought it was his end, yet the great fish became the ship of grace that carried him to purpose, so it will be with you. The circumstances you think will destroy you are the very means by which I will deliver you. Remember, I rule the fish, the waves, and the wind. Nothing lies beyond my control. When everything falls apart, do not rush to rebuild with your own hands. I am the builder, and your only task is to release control so that I may act. If you try to hold on, you will hinder the new thing I am creating. Like a weaver unraveling a flawed tapestry to begin again, I am undoing the tangled threads, relationships, habits, and thoughts that no longer align with my design. Thread by thread, knot by knot, I am remaking the pattern more beautiful, more lasting, more eternal. Let me do this work within you. Do not weep for the old fabric, for from it I am weaving splendor. Sometimes, child, I allow the storm to grow stronger, not to test you, but to reveal the weaknesses you have not yet seen. The storm exposes cracks in your faith and hidden corners of the soul. It shows you where you have trusted in people, reputation, and control instead of in me. But do not be ashamed of the discovery. Awareness is the beginning of healing. I never expose to humiliate, I expose to set free. When the wind blows through, the old layers fall away, and you emerge lighter, truer, purer. Let your tears fall, for tears are the rain that cleanses the dust after the storm. Do not fear when your plans collapse sometimes. I must dissolve the old foundation to build upon the rock. I am that rock, and whoever builds upon me will never be shaken. When all else falls, run to me. I will be your refuge, your fortress, your high tower. When thunder rolls, know that I am speaking to the heavens, commanding them to make way for you. When lightning flashes, know that its light is the sign that darkness has been torn apart, my beloved child. The storm will not last forever. I have set its boundaries and its appointed hour. It will cease the very moment I speak the words, "Enough." No wind can blow beyond my will. When the storm ends, you will see the earth washed clean, the air renewed, the sky wide and high, and a radiant rainbow stretched across it. That rainbow is the covenant I made with Noah after the great flood, the sign that I never forget my promises. In the same way, after your storm, I will place a new seal, a promise of restoration within your heart. It will remind you that though the storm may destroy the old house, it can never touch the foundation of my love. My child, remember this: in the storm you will see who truly belongs with you. When the wind blows, leaves are scattered, but roots grow deeper. Those who remain after the storm are the ones I have appointed for your next journey. Do not grieve those who leave, for their part in your story is complete. Thank them, bless them, and let them go. Their presence or absence both serve the divine order of my plan. Your task is only to keep your heart pure, free from bitterness, untouched by resentment. For when your heart is tranquil, you are making room for me to dwell, my beloved. The storm is not merely a trial, it is a baptism. It washes away pride, erases the marks of fear, and awakens within you a strength you did not know you possessed. You will not be the same person after the storm. You will carry the fragrance of resurrection. Every wound you bear will become a testimony of grace. When others see your scars, they will know that there is a God who walked with you through the fierce wind. And when dawn breaks after the storm, I will open the windows of your soul and say, "Look, the new land is dry." You will breathe deeply of the pure air and realize that what seemed lost has been made new. You will see shoots springing from ground, once scorched rivers rerouting to water-barren fields. That is grace, the grace that renews, rebuilds, and resurrects. And I say to you, do not fear when I shake the earth, for I shake only what is unstable, so that what is unshakable may stand revealed. When you learn to stand still amid the storm, you become a witness of my strength. The storm does not come to destroy, but to anchor you upon the rock of faith. When the wind ceases, you will no longer tremble, for you will know this truth. I, the Lord your God, am not only the one who calms the waves, but the one who makes you stand firm among them. Let the storm do its work. Let me break that I may rebuild. Let the wind blow that seeds may scatter to the soil I have chosen. And when the storm has passed, you will stand in the sunrise, look upon the ashes, and declare, "Here the Lord has turned my loss into glory." For grace not only saves you from the storm, it transforms you into living proof of my presence within it. My beloved child, after you have walked through the fire and crossed the storm, now comes the most precious lesson of all, the art of standing firm. For the fire was not only to refine, and the storm not only to restore. Both were to teach you how to stand, to remain, to believe amid what cannot be explained. Faith is not the absence of wind, it is the power to stand within it. Faithfulness is not the lack of fear, it is the will to keep walking even while afraid. Those who belong to me are not measured by how often they escape the fire, but by how they walk through it unburned. Not by how often they avoid the storm, but by the peace they carry within it. My child, when I say stand firm, I do not mean turn to stone, I mean take root. There is a difference between standing still by your own strength and standing firm in grace. The one who endures by willpower will soon fall, but the one who stands upon my promise will be like a tree planted by streams of water. Remember, faith is not a feeling, it is a decision. It is not a blaze that burns only during prayer, but a steady warmth that endures through the night when prayers seem unanswered. Faith is not built on what you see, but on whom you know. There are times, my child, when faith will not remove the pit before you, but will help you walk across it. Sometimes it will not extinguish the fire, but will carry you through it unscathed. Sometimes it will not silence the storm, but will give you peace in its midst. That is true faith. Faith that does not need a miracle to believe that I am the God of miracles. Like Daniel in the lion's den, he did not know whether morning would find him alive or dead, but he knew one thing: I am the faithful God. And that certainty shut the mouths of lions. You ask, Lord, how can I have such faith? My child, faith is not born in calm days, but in dark nights. It is forged in the echo of loneliness, in tears, in the moments when you feel abandoned. Faith does not grow when you are comforted, but when you are tested. Each time you choose to believe without understanding, your faith deepens. Each time you obey without seeing the result, your roots grow stronger in the soil of promise. And every time you rise after a fall, heaven records a quiet victory of your soul. Faithfulness, my child, is not measured by grand acts, but by steadfastness in small ones. To remain faithful is to pray when you feel nothing to sing, while tears still fall to serve, when no one sees to love when you have been wounded. Faithfulness is the lamp that refuses to go out even when oil runs low. Remember, those who are faithful in little are entrusted with much. When I see you persist in the midst of disappointment, I know you are ready for elevation. When I hear you praise me in the valley, I know you are ready for the mountain. I do not ask you to be strong, I ask you to be sincere. True strength does not come from endurance, but from surrender. The one who knows their weakness yet clings to me is stronger than the proud who rely on themselves. When you bow low, I lift you up. When you are silent, I speak through you. When you stop striving, I move within you. Do not try to become a hero, just remain a child. My grace does not need heroes. My grace needs hearts that are soft. Learn, my child, to keep peace. Peace is not the product of circumstance, but of trust. When you believe that I am in control, the waves cannot drown you. Peace is the quiet whisper in your soul that says, I know He is here. When the world shouts, let your heart be still. When the wind roars, let your faith hum softly. When all things collapse, let your eyes seek me among the ashes. And in that moment you will hear my voice. Do not be afraid, my child, for I am here. Faith is not the road to the reward, it is the reward itself, for through it you draw near to me. When you stand firm in the storm, it is not because you are strong, but because you have allowed me to become your foundation. Each time you believe, you step closer to me. Each time you choose faithfulness, I open my arms wider to receive you. Faith is the bridge between the temporary and the eternal, between human frailty and divine power. And when you reach the end of that bridge, you will see it was never you who held faith, but faith that held you. Remember, faithfulness does not need applause, for it is witnessed by heaven. When you remain steadfast in silence, the angels rejoice. When you do not give up, though no one knows, your name is written in the book of life. No one may see the hours you pray alone, but I see. No one may know the times you forgive, though wounded, but I remember. No one may hear the words you whisper to me at night, but I keep them close to my heart. Your faithfulness is never wasted. It is the fragrance that rises daily before my throne. My beloved child, there are moments when your faith feels as small as a mustard seed. Yet I tell you this truth: if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move," and it will move. Do not despise small faith, for when placed in my hands, it can accomplish great things. I do not ask for perfect faith, I ask for genuine faith. Even a flicker of light in the dark is enough to guide your way. Even a single whisper of yes is enough to open the gates of heaven. Simply keep saying, Lord, I believe, and when you are weak, add help my unbelief. I know there are days when your faith feels weary, when your prayers seem to hit the ceiling and fall back down, when your heart feels hollow and your soul tired. But it is in those very days that I work most powerfully. When you do not feel me, I am closer than ever. When you think you are silent, I am speaking through the language of your spirit. Believe that even when you cannot see, I am moving. Even when you cannot hear, I am whispering. Even when you cannot sense me, I am still holding your hand. My child, when you learn the art of standing firm, you will see that every moment of your life, the fire, the storm, the tears, the loneliness, has meaning. They are the steps that lead you closer to me. They refine your soul until it becomes as clear as glass, allowing my light to shine through you and illuminate the world. When you stand in the fire and are not burned, when you walk through the waves and are not drowned, others will look at you and ask, "What is your secret?" And you will smile and say, "It is not I, but Christ in me." Know this, my beloved, trials do not define you, faith does. The storm may shift, the fire may fade, but faith and faithfulness will endure forever. Guard them as precious jewels within your heart, for they are treasures no thief can steal. And when this journey is complete, you will hear my voice saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful in little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your Lord." Now, my beloved child, rise. Wipe your tears. Lift your head. You have passed through fire, through storm, through shadow, and you are still standing. That alone is proof that my grace is stronger than anything you have ever feared. Step forward now, for ahead of you dawns a new season, the season of sowing and reaping, where every pain you endured will blossom into fruit. When an old season has passed, the fire is out, and the storm has calmed, you enter the quietest yet most sacred part of your journey, the season of sowing. This is not the time of fanfare or open doors, but the time of hidden preparation, of unseen obedience and humble faith. Like a farmer walking into his field after heavy rain, holding a pouch of seeds and gazing toward the horizon, you too are stepping into the soil I have prepared for you. But remember, my child, before the harvest, you must dare to sow in the dark. True faith does not sprout in the light, it takes root in the dark. Just as a seed must be buried deep in the soil, unseen, uncelebrated, and surrounded by silence, so too must your soul learn to grow beneath the surface. You will see others advancing while you seem still. You will see doors open for others while yours remain closed. But do not be disheartened, my child. Every great thing begins in quiet. Every golden field, once spent days hidden beneath the earth. I know you are tired after the trials. I see your trembling hands as you hold the pouch of seeds I have given you. You ask, "Lord, what do I have left to sow? I have lost so much." But my child, what you think you have lost, I will use as seed. The pain you have endured, the tears you have shed, the lessons you have learned, all of it can grow. In my kingdom, nothing is wasted. I am the God who turns ashes into beauty, loss into abundance, mourning into harvest. Trust that the seeds you sow today will bloom in their appointed season. The dark soil is not a grave, it is a cradle. Many fear being hidden, fear being forgotten, but it is in that hiddenness that I do my deepest work. Like a seed buried underground, you may feel buried, but truly you are being protected, so your roots may go deep. Hiddenness is not punishment, it is preparation. When I hide you, it is not because you are unworthy, but because you are precious. Gems are cut in secret. Fine wine is aged in darkness, If I bring you out too soon, the light will ruin what I am forming. My beloved child, learn to cherish the ordinary days. Be grateful for the quiet mornings, when no miracle seems to happen, for it is then that I am building something lasting. When you do the small things faithfully, you are tilling the soil. When you love without being loved back, you are watering the seed. When you forgive, you are pulling weeds from your heart. When you pray without seeing results, you are opening the way for dawn. Every small act, though unseen by men, is sacred before me, the holy work of cooperating with me in the growth of miracles. My child, sowing always carries risk. When the farmer scatters his seeds, he has no guarantee they will sprout. He has only faith that in the soil at the right time, with the right rain and light, the seed will grow. And I am the Lord of all those conditions. So too, when you give, when you love, when you persist, despite seeing no result, you are sowing in trust. And I, Jehovah Jireh, your provider, will ensure that your seed never falls on barren ground. Every act of love, every humble prayer, every faithful tear is gathered by me into the golden storehouse of heaven. Be mindful of what you sow, for you will reap the kind of seed you plant. If you sow bitterness, you will reap loneliness. If you sow forgiveness, you will reap peace. If you sow in tears, you will reap in laughter. As it is written in Psalm 126:5-6, those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with him. I have engraved this law into the fabric of eternity. Not a single seed sown in love will ever be lost. Everything you plant in grace will return to you multiplied in glory. My beloved child, do not fear the waiting. The span between sowing and reaping is where I test your heart and where your faith is formed. The world teaches you to demand immediate results, but I teach you patience. For I do not only desire to give you an outcome, I desire to shape you into one who can carry it well. There are seasons when you think I am silent, yet I am working beneath the surface. A seed does not see the sun at first, and still it grows. Believe this, if you remain faithful one day, you will see the tender shoot push through the dry soil. Regard these days as the laboratory of faith. Learn to obey without understanding everything, to act without needing to witness the result. For obedience is the seed of miracles. Abraham did not know the destination, yet he walked, and for that I made him the father of many nations. So it is with you, obey. Even when you cannot see, for faith does not require a map, only a promise. When you trust my word more than your feelings, you are sowing spiritual seed, and the harvest of faith will soon come. My beloved, there are seeds you will sow whose results you will never see in this life. Do not be grieved, for I see. A prayer whispered in the night may rescue a soul on the far side of the earth. A small deed done in love may alter the destiny of someone you will never meet. Nothing is lost in my kingdom. When you sow, heaven records it. When you are faithful, the angels rejoice. Your seed may sleep long, but when I speak, live, it will burst forth stronger than ever. Do not compare your season to another's. Some seeds sprout quickly, others slowly. Some trees flower early, others bear fruit late. Yet each has its appointed time. I have not forgotten you, nor have I overlooked any promise. When the time comes, I will open the soil, send the rain and shine the light, and you will see the shoots of my promises rise. They are not merely rewards, they are evidence of my faithfulness toward you. Keep your heart pure as you sow. Do not sow to be seen, sow out of love. Do not sow to receive back, sow because I first gave. When you sow with a clean heart, the soil itself will recognize your touch, and heaven will affirm your work. Be grateful to be a sower for sowers. Share in my work. I have sown promises into the world, and you are continuing that work. Remember, each seed you cast is part of a larger story, the story I am writing with everlasting love. Now take the seed pouch in hands purified by fire and washed by the storm. Go out to the field, though dew still lingers, though the ground is damp, though the clouds have not yet cleared, for I go with you. I will walk before you, sprinkling the dew of grace to soften the soil. I will walk behind you to ensure that not a single seed is lost. And as you scatter the seeds, whisper, Lord, I yield it to you. That is the act of one who believes. Then one day when the dawn of harvest arrives, you will look back and realize every drop of sweat, every night of waiting, every moment that seemed futile has become golden sheaves in your arms. You will understand that not a minute was wasted, not a deed forgotten, not a prayer lost. All that you sowed in love has been inscribed upon my heart, and you will smile with tears falling as you hear me say, My child, you have sown faithfully, now reap with joy. My child, you are in the season most people fear, the season of waiting. It is the stretch between the sowing of the seed and its breaking forth. A long interval in which your eyes see nothing, your ears hear nothing, and your heart begins to question whether the seed is truly alive. You look around, and the soil lies still, showing no sign of change. You begin to ask, Lord, are you still there? Did I truly hear your voice? But be still, and know that I am at work. My silence is not absence. It is the sign of a work being wrought in the depths. In nature, a seed can only germinate when it lies still in the earth. It does not struggle, shout, or demand. It simply waits. Yet while the surface seems unmoved, a holy transformation is taking place within. The hard shell is dissolving so the life inside can emerge. If you could see this, you would lose your impatience. In the same way, in the season of waiting, you are not forgotten. I am cracking the old shell so the true life within may come forth. I do not want you to bloom early and fade. I want you to root deeply, so that when the winds come, you will still stand. Beware the temptations of the waiting season. Some in their haste pry open the soil and kill the seed I am nurturing. Others, losing patience, run to different ground, not knowing that the very place they stand is the soil I chose. Do not rush, for everything I do has its time. As Ecclesiastes says, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A seed germinates only when time, soil, water, light, and warmth converge in a harmony that only I can command. You ask, Lord, why won't you give me even a small sign, just a little, my child? Because if you saw the sign, you would trust the sign instead of me. True faith does not require proof. It does not say, when I see, I will believe, but because I believe, I will see. Just as a farmer does not dig up the ground each day to check his seed, you must learn to trust that I am working even when you cannot see. When I am silent, I am not distant. I am working at a depth your words cannot reach. My beloved, the waiting season is not a delay, it is part of the plan. In this time, I am building 3 things within you: patience, trust, and steadfastness. Patience teaches you that true results require time. Trust teaches you that you are not in control, I am. Steadfastness teaches you that even when nothing is visible, you do not give up. These cannot be learned in the light of success. They mature only in the darkness of waiting. Remember Abraham, he waited 25 years for the promise to be fulfilled. Remember Joseph, he spent 13 years in prison before he was set in authority. Remember David, anointed as a youth, yet pursued through caves for years before he sat upon the throne. Every great promise comes with a long season of waiting. For in that time I am not only preparing the blessing for you, I am preparing you for the blessing. My child, when I hold you in silence, do not think I am slow. I am neither slow nor hurried. I am always on time. When I say wait, it is not because I am unready, but because I desire you to be complete enough to receive what I have already prepared. As a father does not hand a knife to a child, though he knows the child needs to cut the bread, so I do not place great things in your hands until you are steady enough to hold them. When you learn the lessons of calm and obedience, the harvest will come of itself. You will not need to force it. See each quiet day as a breath of grace. Each time you choose to believe while seeing nothing, a root goes deeper. Each time you give thanks without a visible reason, the soil grows softer. Each time you refuse to quit, the sky draws nearer. I do not search for the swift, I search for the steadfast. For the steadfast are those who can keep the blessing for the long haul. My beloved child, in the waiting, keep your spirit anchored in peace and gratitude. Complaining dries the soul, but thankfulness makes the spiritual soil fertile. Thank me even when you see nothing, for gratitude is the loudest declaration of faith. When you say, "Thank you, Lord," heaven hears that you trust me more than your circumstance, and in that moment the seed of faith begins to sprout. My child, I know waiting can weary you. There are mornings when you wake without strength, nights when you kneel without words. Yet even in your silence, know that I am listening. I hear the beating of your heart, the sighs of your soul, the quiet hope hidden in your stillness. Every tear you shed in this season is a drop of rain watering the seed I am nurturing within you. Do not confuse silence with abandonment. You are not forsaken, you are being cultivated. You are not forgotten, you are being hidden for the appointed time. When others step into the light, I keep you in the shade, not because you are unworthy, but because early light can harm a blossom not yet strong. When your time comes, nothing will stop you from blooming. For it is not others who decide your season of flowering, it is I. My child, learn to rest in faith. Do not force the door to open. Do not strain to make things happen. Let me lead. Let my timing do its work. Some gifts can only be received once you stop running. Let me show you that grace is stronger than effort. Rest is not surrender, it is trust. When you cease striving, I begin to move. When impatience rises, remember the mother carrying a child. No one sees the baby within her, yet all know that life is forming. So it is with you. The things I've planted within your soul are growing each day. You cannot see them, but I can. I hear the heartbeat of what I am bringing forth in you. And when the time of birth arrives, nothing will prevent it. The pain you feel then will not be destruction, it will be delivery. Let your heart settle into this assurance, I am at work. Even when you sense nothing, I am moving for your good. Know that not one of your prayers has been forgotten. Every word is written in my book, every sincere desire sealed with my mark. When the time is ripe, the door will open gently, like a flower unfolding in the morning light. And when that day comes, you will look back on the waiting season with gratitude. You will realize that the days that felt empty were the very foundation of your fullness, that the nights you thought were wasted were when I was rewriting your destiny. In silence, I sang your song of restoration. In waiting, I rooted your faith deep. And when you see the blossoms, you will whisper, Lord, now I understand. Your silence was a whispered promise. My beloved child, the time has come. After sowing in tears and waiting in stillness, now is the season of harvest, the season of fulfillment, when I open my hand and give what I have promised, not as a random reward, but as the natural fruit of faithfulness. The seeds you cast into the dark are now blooming in the light. Your tears have become rain, and that rain has filled the rivers of grace. You will see that not a single tear was wasted, not a single night forgotten, not a single prayer lost. All were used to water this field of blessing. My harvest, beloved, is not only about what you receive, but about who you have become. The true harvest is not measured by quantity, but by transformation. Once you asked me for many things, now you understand that the greatest gift I give is myself. My presence in you is the real reward. You have passed through fire, through storm, through sowing and waiting, and now your soul is mature enough to hold my glory. Look around, my child. Do you see it? The seeds you once planted in fragile faith have become a wide golden field. Those you once prayed for have been touched. The quiet acts of love you once offered have multiplied into rivers of inspiration. Everything you did in secret, I multiplied in silence. Like the 5 loaves and 2 fish in my hands, small yet enough to feed thousands, so the little you gave became a miracle when touched by me. This harvest does not arrive like a sudden downpour, but like dawn breaking over the horizon. The first light will shine not on your circumstances, but in your heart, the light of understanding. You will begin to see why I allowed the dark days, why I stayed silent, why I took away things you thought you needed. You will see that everything fits perfectly into my plan. The detours you once resented were the very shortcuts that brought you to the right place. My grace never wanders. It always moves with purpose, even when the path surprises you. When harvest comes, do not forget how you arrived here. Do not forget the nights you prayed through tears, the days you believed without sight, the moments you refused to quit when you had nothing left to hold. Those moments shaped this season. Without sowing, there is no reaping. Without waiting, there is no maturing. Without surrender, there is no fulfillment. Be thankful for the barren seasons, for they paved the way for this abundance. My harvest, beloved, is unlike the world's harvest. The world measures success by wealth, status, and applause, but I measure it by love, peace, and joy in the Spirit. The true fruit of faith is not what you possess, but who you become. When you can love those who hurt you, forgive those who never apologize, stay peaceful in storms, and hope in ruins, that is your harvest. In this moment, I am not only blessing you, I am setting you apart to become a new sower. Harvest is not the end. It is the beginning of another holy cycle in my eternal plan. You who once sowed in tears will now help others sow in hope. You who were comforted will now become a comforter. You who were healed will now carry healing to many. I never bless you for blessing to stop with you. I bless you so that it may flow through you. And when blessings overflow, keep your heart humble, for blessings are given to serve, not to boast. Remember, I am both the giver and the keeper. When you see the field heavy with grain, bow low like the ripe wheat bending before the wind. When you are exalted, kneel even lower before me. When many praise you, remember only I am worthy of glory. Humility is the fence that guards your blessings from being stolen. My beloved child, do not forget to share your harvest. Not everyone stands in this season yet. Many are still sowing, still waiting in the dark. Tell them that the Lord your God is faithful, that he never breaks a promise. Encourage them that the seeds they hold with trembling hands and tear-stained hearts will sprout in their appointed time. Become a living witness of my grace, for your testimony will become seed in the hearts of others. I will use your words to awaken the sleeping seeds buried in many souls. My child, harvest is not merely a reward, it is the reaffirming of a covenant. When you stand amid the golden field of blessing, I will remind you I never left you. I walked beside you through every season, and now I stand with you in joy. This is not only your harvest, it is mine, the season in which I see the work I began in you brought to completion. When I behold you mature in love, my heart rejoices, as a father who sees his child grow strong and true. When you gather the sheaves, let your heart overflow with thanksgiving. Thank me not only for the results, but for the journey. Thank me for what I gave, and also for what I withheld. Thank me for the yes and for the not yet. Thank me for those who left and for those who stayed. For every drop of tear, every smile, every step, all have shaped this harvest. When gratitude fills your heart, your harvest will never run dry, my beloved. The fields are golden. The wind of the Spirit moves through them, and the grain bows as though in worship. The angels are singing, and heaven itself rejoices. This is the season I promised, and it has come in its perfect time. I have turned barren ground into gardens, tears into rivers of joy, and night into dawn. You have walked through every season, and now you stand in the fullness of light. Yet remember this, my child, I did not call you only to reap. I called you to sow again. For the world still holds wastelands waiting to be cultivated, souls still thirsty for living water. Carry the seeds of mercy, grace, and hope that I have placed in you and scatter them into the hearts of others. Let the blessing not stop within you. Let it flow as a river of life from your spirit, watering dry lands. And as you do, I will open a new season, one of greater depth, higher glory, and wider reach. For in my kingdom no season truly ends. Each one unfolds into the next wave of grace. And when you look back over this long journey, you will smile through tears and say, everything the Lord has done is good. He has kept his promise. He has done far more than all I could ask or imagine. Enter this sacred harvest season with a heart full of gratitude, open hands, and a bowed soul. For this is the season of joy, the season of faithfulness, revealed the season where I am glorified through you. You are not only reaping what you sowed, you are also reaping what your ancestors prayed for, and you will sow seeds that generations after you will harvest. This is the rhythm of my love, unending, ever-growing, ever-living in the light of eternity. My child, when the harvest season fades and you step into the next phase, you will discover another kind of battle awaiting you, not outside but within your soul. After every blessing comes a new test, not of fire or storm but of discernment, for not everything that shines is light, and not everything calm is peace. I allow this new season so you may learn a deeper wisdom, how to discern what is true and what is false, what comes from me, and what is born of the enemy cloaked in radiance. When you emerge from trials, the enemy will no longer attack through fear, but through fascination. He will not come with flames, but with counterfeit light. He will whisper, trust your own strength, follow your heart, do what pleases you. And if you are not careful, you may mistake his voice for mine. For the greatest deception does not arise from deep darkness, but from false light, the kind that convinces the soul it walks in truth, even as it drifts away from me. This, my child, is the most subtle battle. Every one of mine must face the battle of discernment. Not everyone who speaks of me comes from me. Not every word labeled grace, love, or freedom is born of the true Spirit. There are voices that sound gentle but carry poison, hands that seem to help yet lead toward pride. That is why I am training you to discern between my voice and the world's, between true light and imitation, between life and the shadow of life. Remember, this true light never dazzles, it reveals. False light blinds, true light opens eyes. False light makes you the center, true light makes me the center. False light intoxicates you with yourself, true light humbles you before me. When something stirs urgency, pride, or restlessness in your heart, pause, for I never guide through haste. My voice is gentle yet firm, quiet yet full of authority. Beloved, search your heart, for there lies the real battlefield. The world outside merely mirrors the struggle within. The enemy cannot defeat you with what he does not find inside you. He can only use your unhealed desires, your hidden fears, your unaddressed wounds. That is why I allow my light to expose the deep places within, not to condemn, but to free. When my light shines, darkness cannot hide. Let it reach the places where your weakness dwells, for only then will you be truly free. Do not fear exposure, for my light does not destroy, it heals. You may think that if your hidden parts were revealed, you would lose everything. But when I reveal, I also cover. I uncover to cleanse, I prune, so you may bear more fruit. Remember, darkness never disappears on its own. It flees when light appears. You do not need to run from the dark. Simply turn on my light within. As you enter this stage, the enemy will attempt to twist your values. He will teach you to call evil good and good weak. He will disguise wrong as freedom and bind you in the name of independence. But remember, true freedom is not doing what you want, it is having the strength to do what is right. Only those who dwell in me are truly free, for they are no longer driven by fear or desire, but guided by love and truth. My beloved child, always examine everything under the light of my word. My word is the double-edged sword, sharp enough to separate spirit from soul, truth from illusion. When you are unsure of what is right, return to my word. You do not need a new prophecy nor a strange voice, for all that you need has already been written. When you build your life upon my word, you will not be shaken, even when the world changes. The enemy can mimic sound, but it cannot mimic essence only. My word carries true, transforming power. Do not forget that I have placed my Spirit within you, the one who leads you into all truth. He is the gentle voice within your heart, the stirring of peace or unease when you stand at a crossroads. When you hear a voice pushing you to prove yourself, question it. But when you hear a whisper that humbles you, leads you to love and invites you to forgive, know that it is mine. My Spirit never frightens, never condemns. He only invites, guides, and encourages. My beloved, I know this inner battle is more exhausting than storms or fire because it has no visible form. No one sees your struggle. No one knows what you wrestle with. Yet it is in this silence that I am forging you into a true warrior. The victor is not the one who conquers others, but the one who conquers self. When you learn to surrender your will, I will lift you up. When your desires yield to my authority, you will walk in true power. Remember, this darkness does not flee because you hate it, but because you step out of it. Do not fight the dark, turn on the light. Do not try to destroy evil, multiply good. Do not only denounce lies, live truthfully. Every small act done in light forces darkness to retreat. When you choose honesty, when you choose love, when you choose forgiveness, you are winning battles in the unseen realm. Light is never afraid of darkness. It does not argue to prove it is real, it simply shines. So too, you do not need to prove your righteousness to anyone. You need only to live what I have placed within you. When you walk in the light, others will see and be illumined. When you live truthfully, your truth will expose falsehood without accusation. I am calling you to be a lamp in this world, not a harsh light that blinds, but a gentle flame that guides. The world does not need more voices of criticism. It needs souls who radiate holiness and kindness. Let your light come not from knowledge or talent, but from my presence within you. For when I dwell in you, darkness cannot touch you. Do not fear the inner battle, for through it you will discover who I truly am and who you truly are in me. Let light expose, let truth penetrate, and let your heart be purified. For when darkness is revealed and light is established, you will enter a new phase, victory in silence, where the light not only shines upon you, but shines through you so that the world may see me. My beloved child, now that you have learned to discern between true and false light and dark, it is time to enter a deeper stage, the season of silent victories. This is no longer a battle of outward actions, but of the heart where only you and I bear witness. No one sees, no one applauds, yet these victories are the foundation of true glory. In my kingdom it is not outer noise but inner faithfulness that moves heaven. There will be battles you fight that no one on earth will ever know. No applause, no reward, no thank you. Yet each time you choose silence, when you could retaliate, forgiveness, when you could strike back, prayer, when you could complain, that is a true victory. Heaven records each one, and every small quiet act becomes a stone in the throne of glory I am preparing for you. Do not despise the moments that seem meaningless. When you obey in small things, you defeat the enemy in ways he does not expect. The adversary longs to see you weary, rebellious, and desperate for approval. But when you remain faithful in silence, you confuse him, for he cannot understand the power of humility. He understands power and ambition, but he cannot comprehend the strength of surrender. What the world calls weakness, I call radiant triumph. There will be mornings without joy, without inspiration, without encouragement. Yet if in those mornings you still pray, still read, my word still choose, love still walk uprightly, you have won. Victory does not always carry emotion. It is the quiet consistency amid changing feelings. Faith is not built on excitement but on decision. Faithfulness is not born from ease but from love. My child, I see every hidden battle, the struggle to forgive, when betrayed the fight to remain pure, when temptation whispers the decision to trust when I seem silent, the choice to love when wounded. No one else sees, but I do. No one praises, but I smile. My angels bow in reverence when they behold a fragile soul choosing to remain steadfast. You may not hear the sound of trumpets, but heaven sings each time you walk the narrow way. Do not seek validation from people. You were not created for their applause, but for my pleasure. Remember, my rewards may not come as quickly as the world's, but they endure forever. What you do in secret I will honor in my light, not for show, but in the glory of my presence. Many receive their reward now, but you, my chosen one, are being prepared for an eternal crown. Faithfulness in silence is an act of courage. To keep doing what is right when no one sees means you truly believe that I see. To love when love is not returned means you believe my love is enough. To obey when misunderstood means you trust my plan is perfect. That is mature faith, needing no proof, no praise, only me. Remember my son Jesus. He performed great miracles, yet most of his life was spent in obscurity. For 30 years, he was simply a carpenter in Nazareth. No one saw, no one honored him yet in those quiet years. He learned obedience, humility, and silence. When the appointed time came, he walked forth in unshakable authority. In the same way, I am using your hidden years to shape you into a vessel of endurance and grace. Understand this, silence is not emptiness. It is formation. Like roots growing unseen in the dark soil, pushing deeper each day, those roots will hold the tree steady when storms come. Without deep roots, even the most beautiful tree will fall. So too, these quiet seasons are when I am anchoring your soul in my unchanging love. When the winds of trial blow again, you will not break, for you are rooted in me. You may sometimes ask, Lord, I've done so much good. Why does no one notice I've kept my heart pure? Why am I misunderstood? But my child, do not grieve. You do not need the world to see, for I already have. Every act of love you've done is a stream flowing into the river of my grace. Every hidden prayer you've whispered is a stone in the temple of faith. You are part of a far greater story than you imagine, one whose glory you will fully see only in eternity. Do not chase results, pursue union with me. When you act out of love, you have already won. When you refuse bitterness, you have won. When you choose peace instead of argument, you have won. When you intercede for the one who wounded you, you have won. These are victories no one will write down, yet I engrave them on my heart, my beloved child. The world delights in loud victories, but I rejoice in the silent ones. For those quiet triumphs reveal that you love me more than recognition, love truth more than comfort, and love forgiveness more than revenge. Each time you choose what is right in solitude, you are offering me a sacrifice more precious than pure gold. Know this well, I do not measure by outward acts, but by the motives of the heart. A small deed done in purity carries more weight in heaven than 1,000 grand works done for praise. My child, faithfulness in silence is also the test of trust. When you no longer need to control to see results or to receive explanations, you are demonstrating perfect confidence in me. I am teaching you to love without expecting love, in return to serve without seeking recognition, to give without longing for reward. That is true love, the kind that asks for nothing because it knows that I have already given everything first. And believe this, no act of goodness, no matter how small, ever escapes my notice. A whispered prayer, a gentle smile, a cup of water shared a moment when you restrain your anger, all are written in the chronicles of heaven. On the day of revelation, when I unveil all things, you will be astonished to see how many of your small unseen gestures became rays of light, guiding countless others. When you choose silent faithfulness, you are not only winning in the present, you are laying foundations for the future. You are clearing paths for the next generation, for your children, and their children, for souls you may never meet. You are sowing invisible seeds of faith that will one day bloom in the hands of others. And I, the Lord of all generations, am smiling as I behold the harvest that will spring from your hidden obedience. My child, now be at peace. Keep walking quietly, for it is within that silence that I am composing the symphony of your victory. One day when you stand before me, I will not say you were famous or many people knew your name. I will say only this: well done, my good and faithful servant. You remained steadfast when no one was watching. You loved when no one loved you back. You believed when there was nothing left to hold on to. Now, enter into the joy of your Lord. My beloved one, after years of silent battles, you have reached the moment when the light within you no longer shines only for yourself, but begins to radiate outward. This light does not come from knowledge, success, or accomplishment. It comes from surrender, from the deep transformation of your soul. Like an earthen vessel once cracked, now mended by the gold of grace, the very fractures that once marked you have become the openings through which my light pours most brightly. That is rebirth in the light, not merely carrying light, but becoming it. This rebirth does not happen in a single instant, but in every breath of surrender. Each time you choose love instead of anger, you are being reborn. Each time you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, you are being reborn. Each time you choose faith while still wounded, you are being reborn. Light does not arrive because you chase it. It comes because you allow me to restore your soul. When my hand touches you, all the old shadows, fear, guilt, shame, the weight of memory begin to fade like morning mist before the Sunday. You are no longer who you were. You do not need to strain to become better, for I myself am perfecting you from within. Understand, my child, that true light is not natural light. It flows from communion with me. It is not the brilliance of perfection, but the glow of redemption. Because you have fallen, your light is purer. Because you have suffered, you now know how to comfort. Because you have wandered, you know how to guide others home. No one shines more brightly than the one who has walked through the night and no longer fears the dark. The light I give you is not meant to be hidden, nor to be admired. It is meant to shine, to guide, to warm, to heal. As my son said, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. You are called to be a lighthouse for drifting souls, guiding them safely back to me. This world does not need more noise. It needs quiet, steadfast light that listens, that understands, that lifts up, and that loves without judgment. Beloved, let not your light be tainted by pride. True light never boasts. It simply fulfills its purpose. When you truly shine, you need not declare, I am light, for others will sense it through your presence. Humble light is enduring light. It does not burn others. It warms them. It does not expose to humiliate. It illuminates to lead. Do not strive to be dazzling. Strive to be genuine. For I am the source within you, and only when I remain your center will that light never fade. Remember, light and darkness cannot share the same space. As my light grows in you, I will gently remove the old relationships, habits, thoughts, and perspectives that dim what I am revealing. You may feel lonely, for not everyone can bear true light. But do not grieve, for you were not born to please the dark, you were born to reveal it. Loneliness in the light is the cost of glory. Remember, when Jesus was lifted on the cross, he too stood in solitude. Yet from that very solitude, the light of salvation spread across the world. My beloved, I have allowed you to walk through enough darkness to understand that light is not an entitlement, it is grace. You will no longer see others through the lens of judgment, because you will know that each one is fighting their own shadow. True light within you will not make you proud. It will make you gentle. You will no longer see people's sins but their potential for renewal, the same renewal I have worked in you. When you speak, your words will carry healing power, for they will flow not from intellect but from light that has survived the dark in this generation. My light seeks those who not only preach about me, but live in me. The world is filled with torches of knowledge, but starved for the flame of presence. Do not merely speak of the light, let every step you take prove it. When you smile at the hopeless, you shine. When you listen to the wounded without judgment, you shine. When you intercede instead of criticize, you shine. True light is not only seen, it is felt. Do not be afraid as the world grows darker, for the thicker the night, the clearer the light. Do not fear when evil seems to spread, for that is your moment to shine. Like a candle in the night that still guides the traveler, your small flame is enough. One gentle word can redirect a soul. One act of love can shatter the chains around a bound heart. Do not wait for the crowd's approval. If even one life is touched, the light has already triumphed. My child, let your light be continually fed by the oil of my spirit. Without him, your flame will fade. Do not let busyness, fear, or success cause you to forget to refill your lamp. Spend time daily in my presence. That is where your light is rekindled. Just as Moses' face shone after meeting me on the mountain, so your light will not come from effort but from closeness. I have not called you to be perfect, but to be transparent, so that my light can pass through you unaltered. The world needs clear vessels, not for self-reflection, but for revelation. Let your soul become a crystal vessel unclouded by fear, pride, or doubt. When you allow me to purify you, the light will flow effortlessly, without striving, without announcement. True light never advertises itself, it simply shines. My beloved child, do not forget, your rebirth in the light is not the end but the beginning of your calling. You have been refined, healed, and renewed. Now you are being sent, not as one who bears the title of chosen to elevate yourself, but as one commissioned to serve. Go and shine wherever I have placed you, in your family, in your work, in the noise of the city, or the stillness of the countryside. Wherever there is darkness, there you have a purpose. Wherever there is pain, there my light in you must shine. As you walk in this mission, remember the light you carry is never yours alone. It begins in me, flows through you, and reaches others. When you grow weary, return to me, the source that never runs dry. When your flame flickers, let me rekindle it. When you are misunderstood, remember, light needs no defense. It simply keeps shining. I now declare this over your life. You are my light in this world. Not a light that blinds with pride, but one that heals with gentleness. Not a light that condemns, but one that loves. Not a fleeting light, but an eternal one. You have been reborn, and from this day forward you no longer live for yourself, but that my light within you may spread across the earth. And when the world looks upon you, they will not say, "That person shines," but "The God of that person is glorious." For true light never draws attention to the vessel, but always points back to the source. That is the glory of rebirth, not merely to be rescued from darkness, but to become the living testimony of everlasting light. My beloved, there are many things in this life that will change. Seasons will come and go, people will arrive and depart, joy and sorrow will shift with time. Yet one thing will never change: my love for you. This love is not born of emotion, but of covenant, an eternal promise written on my heart before you were formed. It is not a fleeting affection, but an everlasting bond, unbreakable, unending, unchanging. Do you know, my child, before your first word I already loved you. Before your first mistake I had already forgiven you. Before your first cry I had already drawn you into my plan. My love does not come because you deserve it, but because you belong to me. There is nothing you can do to make me love you more, and nothing you can do to make me love you less. My love is not measured by your actions, but rooted in my nature. I am the faithful one, the promise keeper, who never breaks his word. The covenant between you and me was not written in ink, but in the blood of the Lamb. When my son Jesus stretched his arms upon the cross, he signed that covenant with his own life. In that sacred moment, my love was etched into the story of humanity, a love that cannot be destroyed, revoked, or replaced. When his blood was poured out and he declared, "It is finished," it was not merely a cry of redemption, it was the sealing of an eternal covenant between me and those I love. Understand this, my child, this covenant was not given merely to save you, but to dwell within you. It is not a contract of obligation, but a relationship of love. I did not call you to be a servant bound by fear, but a child bound by affection, not to live under rigid law, but in the freedom of love. When you grasp this, you will cease striving to earn my favor and will instead rejoice knowing you already have it fully forever in Christ. There will be moments when you think I am distant, silent, or have forgotten my promise. But my child, my covenant is not moved by emotion or circumstance. It is not weakened by time or by human failure. When you cannot see me, I am still there. When you cannot hear me, I am still speaking. When you fall, my hand still reaches out. When you run, I still pursue. You may wander far by your steps, but never beyond my reach. For my covenant is eternal, unbreakable, indestructible, sealed by grace. Beloved, remember this. My covenant was not made to spare you from pain, but to give you strength to endure it. It does not promise there will be no storms, but it assures you will never be alone in them. I do not promise that your path will always be smooth, but I promise your feet will not slip from the way I have set. I do not promise that others will always understand you, but I promise that I do. I do not promise a life without tears, but I promise to gather each one and turn them into seeds of blessing. Many live their lives standing upon shifting ground, placing their hope in people, possessions, success, or fleeting emotions. Yet all these things can be swept away by the gentlest wind. Only my covenant love is an unshakable foundation. When you plant your heart upon it, you will stand firm though the world crumbles. When you build your spiritual house upon the rock, the rain may pour, the wind may howl, but that house will never fall, for its foundation is me, the living God. My covenant not only protects you, it transforms you. It turns your gaze from pleasing the world to reflecting me. It frees you from fear of loss, for you now know that my love can never be lost. It releases you from striving for position, for you already have an eternal place in my heart. This covenant makes you truly free, not free to do as you please, but free to live with purpose. For one who knows they are loved unconditionally no longer needs to prove themselves. They simply long to love in return. My beloved child, there will be days when you forget my promises, but I have never forgotten you. There will be moments when you are weak, yet my covenant remains strong. There will be times when you doubt, but my grace endures. Long ago I spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed. Isaiah 5:4-10, and that word still stands today. Mountains may crumble, oceans may fade, but my love for you remains steadfast forever. I do not want you merely to know about this covenant. I want you to live within it. Do not only read about my love, let it become the air you breathe, the water you drink, the light that guides each step. Let that love define you, not your past, your fear, or your wounds. When you truly grasp that you are loved with a love that cannot be withdrawn, you will live differently. You will no longer react from fear, but act in faith. You will no longer chase acceptance, for you are already accepted. You will no longer worry about tomorrow, because you know the one who holds tomorrow never breaks his word. My beloved, the covenant I made with you is not a distant decree locked in heaven's archives. It is my living breath within you. Each time you feel peace in the midst of a storm, that is the mark of the covenant. Each time you are lifted when you thought you would fall, that is the covenant at work. Each time you hear my voice stirring in your heart, that is the covenant alive. It is not a theory, but a living relationship where I and you become one. I know there are moments when you feel unworthy, but remember, this covenant was not founded on your worthiness. It was founded on grace. You cannot uphold it by effort, for I am the one upholding it. When you are weak, I am strong. When you waver, I remain faithful. When you lose your way, I find you. My covenant does not depend on your ability, but on my heart, a heart unchanged since the beginning of time. And know this, my child, this covenant is not for you alone, it extends through generations. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I am the God of you and your children's children. The prayers you whisper today will open doors of blessing for those yet to come. The tears you sow in faith will water the seeds of future souls. For my covenant does not stop with one lifetime. It is a river of grace flowing through generations, joining every heart within my eternal plan of love. When you understand the height, the depth, the width, and the length of that love, you will no longer be shaken by what is temporary. You will no longer fear loss, for you stand in what cannot be lost. You will no longer fear the future, for you belong to the one who commands it. You will no longer fear loneliness, for you are held in arms that never let go. You will walk with a peace the world cannot explain, the peace born from an everlasting covenant between you and me. My beloved, there is a gift greater than miracles, richer than treasures, deeper than promises, the gift of my presence. Nothing in heaven or on earth compares to it. For my presence is not a feeling, it is life itself, the soul of every blessing, the wellspring of all peace. From the beginning, when I created humankind, my desire was never that you merely exist, but that you abide in me as a branch joined to the vine, as breath cannot be apart from life. Do you know why I formed you? Not so that you might work for me, but that you might walk with me. In Eden, I walked with Adam and Eve in the cool of the day, sharing thought and heartbeat. That image remains my longing to restore perfect communion between the Creator and His beloved creation. Yet sin built a wall, causing humanity to forget the gentle sound of my voice, the sweetness of my nearness. And the world grew cold, dry, and hollow, for it had lost what was most sacred, me. But I never stopped seeking. From Abraham to Moses, from prophets to the age of grace, I have always pursued my people. I said to Moses, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Exodus 3:1-4, and I say it again to you today. My presence is no longer confined to temples of stone, no longer hidden in the ark, but dwelling within your heart. When my son Jesus said, "I will not leave you as orphans, I will come to you," he opened the way for unbroken union. From that moment on, I am no longer only God above, but God with you and in you. Understand, my child, that my presence is not a passing breeze, it is an eternal current. When you do not feel it, it is not because I am distant, but because your heart is noisy. The world around you is loud voices, devices, worries, comparisons, secret fears. These noises cannot drive me away, but they can drown out my whisper. For I do not speak through thunder, but through the still small voice heard in the quiet of the soul. When you are silent, you will know I never left. When you pause, you will find I have been waiting since the beginning. My presence is not only for you to feel it, it is for you to be transformed. No one who truly dwells in my presence remains the same. As Moses descended from Sinai, his face shone because I had touched him. So it is with you when you spend time with me. Even a few quiet moments, your soul is illuminated, your mind renewed, your heart softened. My presence melts, hardness heals, wounds revives what has withered within you. Do not seek my presence only in fleeting emotions or special moments. Learn to live in it daily. When you wash dishes, I am there. When you work, I am there. When you are weary, I am there. When you rejoice, when you mourn, when you sit in silence, I am there. You need not step into a holy building to find me, for I have made you my dwelling place. Your body is the temple of my spirit, and every breath you take is proof that I am in you. My presence is the greatest gift and the deepest mystery. It cannot be purchased by striving, only received through surrender. You cannot manufacture it by form or effort, but you can open your heart to welcome it. Come humbly as a child, running into a father's arms. Come not with a list of wants, but with a heart that wants only to be. When you stop your plans, cease your control, and rest in the stillness of knowing that I am God, then, my child, you are at the very center of my presence. My beloved child, many seek me for blessings, yet few seek me simply because I am who I am. But you, my heart calls you, to a love beyond condition, to a place where my presence itself is the reward. When you learn to dwell with me for no other reason than to be with me, you will discover the fullness of joy. There is no fear, no lack, no striving, only you and me in perfect union. Learn to listen to me in the rhythm of life. When the gentle breeze brushes your face, I am reminding you I am near. When a stranger smiles at you, it is my whisper that love still surrounds you. When you hear the morning birds sing, I am declaring that I am still creating newness each day. When peace fills your heart, in the midst of the storm, that is my embrace. I am not only in the extraordinary, I dwell in the simple, the quiet, the overlooked. My presence is not a place of must or should, but of may. You may rest, you may be loved. You do not need to appear strong in my presence. You may cry, you may question, you may admit that you are tired, weak, and uncertain, and I will love you just the same. I do not love you because you are strong. I love you because you are mine. My presence does not require perfection before you come. It sanctifies you as you stay. When you abide in my presence, everything else falls into its rightful place. Fear dissolves, for perfect love drives out fear. Worry quiets, for my peace surpasses understanding. Anger softens, for my mercy begins to flow through you. Doubt fades, for my light reveals the path. You do not need to strive to change yourself. Just remain in me, and I will complete the work within you. When you let my presence cover you, you will carry that presence wherever you go. Others will sense peace near you, because they will see not just you, but me in you. You will not need many words, for your very being will testify of my love. In your workplace, in your home, among friends, you will become the fragrance of Christ, bringing hope, comfort, and light to weary souls. I know the world will try to pull you away from my presence. It will tell you that you have no time, that you must hurry, that prayer is useless. But remember, only in my presence do you truly live. Outside of me you may exist, but you cannot live. Outside of me you may move, but you will not bear fruit. Outside of me you may speak, but your words will lack power. Choose to remain in me, for I am the source of all that is living. And one day, when the noise of the world fades, when earthly lights go out, my presence will still remain, covering everything. Then you will see that every moment spent with me was never wasted, but an eternal investment. For my presence is not only for today, it is the dwelling place of forever, where there is no pain, no tears, only light, peace, and unending love. My beloved, I am here right now. Not in the future, not in the past, but in this very moment. You do not need to search far, for I am within the beat of your heart, within your breath, within the quiet pause between your sighs. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and whisper, "Lord, I know you are here." In that instant, the unseen veil between heaven and earth lifts, and you are in me, and I am in you. I am not only with you in the stillness, I walk beside you on every path. From sunrise to sunset, from gentle hills to shadowed valleys, from songs of praise to moments of sorrow, I am there, unchanging, unwavering. When you walk, I walk with you. When you stop, I stop beside you. When you sit weeping by the roadside, I sit too, placing my hand gently on your shoulder. When you look toward a dim horizon, I am the light at its end. When you walk in fear, I go before you to make a way. When you are weak, I am behind you, guarding your steps. When you are weary, I am in the midst of you, holding you close. Not one step you take is ever alone. Not one night passes without me there. There are moments when you think I have left, when prayers seem unanswered, when doors close, when everything falls apart. But my child, it is in those moments of silence that I am working most deeply. Like a surgeon healing the hidden places, I must sometimes be silent to restore what is unseen. Like a potter shaping clay, I must hold you firmly so that your form is made perfect. Like a father teaching his child to walk, I take a step back so you may learn balance, but my eyes never leave you. I know the long roads you have walked and the dry valleys you have crossed. I know the nights you've cried, unsure why life feels so hard. Yet every step in that desert bore my footprints beside yours. When you had no strength to continue, I carried you. When you saw only one set of footprints in the sand, that was when I bore you through the storm. You never walked alone, I walked for you. Do not think I am present only in what you call good. I am in what you call loss. When you are rejected, I am protecting you from what is not yours. When you are betrayed, I am purifying what is false. When you must let go, I am making space for the new. When you lose something precious, I am giving you something eternal. You see pain, I see preparation. You see endings, I see beginnings. For I am not only the God of joy, but the God of every season. Each season has purpose. Sowing brings tears, harvest brings joy. Winter seems barren, yet roots grow deepest then. Summer burns hot, yet flowers bloom brightest there. Do not resist the season I am leading you through, for I never guide you where I cannot keep you. I know the strength you can bear, the fire you can endure, the measure of your soul, and I will never place on you a burden beyond your grace. Remember, my protection does not always look like what you expect. Sometimes I protect by closing doors, not opening them. Sometimes I protect through silence, not answers. Sometimes I protect you with tears, so you will not cling to illusions. Sometimes I protect through loss, so you will learn the worth of what endures. My protection is not only to keep you safe, but to keep your soul whole amid the collisions of life. I am Jehovah Nissi, your banner of victory. When enemies rise, I am the wall around you. When arrows fly by night, I am your shield. When doubt, fear, or temptation attack, call upon my name, for my name is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. Proverbs 18:10. I guard not only your body, but your soul, the most precious treasure of all. Though battles rage and darkness thickens, you never fight alone. I have not promised you will never be wounded, but I have promised no wound will destroy you. As the grain must die to bear fruit, your pain will give birth to new life. As gold must pass through fire to be pure, your faith is being refined. When you walk through the fire, I am in it with you. When you pass through the waters, I am beneath your feet. When you stand where there seems no way, I will make a way. I am not only your protector, I am your pathfinder. What you fear today, I have already conquered before. Every rescue in your past is proof that I am still faithful. Remember the doors that once closed only to open by miracle. Remember the moments you thought all was lost, only to find greater treasures waiting. These memories are not for nostalgia, they are anchors for faith. For I am still the same God yesterday, today, and forever. In this journey you will face many crossroads, and not all paths will be clear. Some roads appear smooth but hide snares. Others look narrow but lead to glory. Do not fear the road less traveled, for it is often the one I choose. Let me lead, even when you cannot see the end. As Israel was guided by a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, so my presence will guide you through your wilderness. When you hear that gentle whisper saying, "This is the way, walk in it," that is my voice. Do not let the noise of the world drown it out, for I will never lead you astray. My child, do not think you are too small to be protected. I have counted every hair on your head. I know every tear that falls. When you sigh, I hear. When you tremble, I hold you. When you take a step, I watch over you. Nothing escapes. My eyes for you are the creature I treasure most of all. The world may look down on you, but I call you my anointed one. Walk with your head held high, not in pride, but in the assurance that you are not abandoned. Every road you walk bears the imprint of my hand. Whether winding or straight, rough or smooth, each one leads you to a single place, closer to me. There are turns you do not understand, goodbyes that sting, failures that feel beyond recovery. But know this, these are not periods. They are commas in the story I am writing, and I am the perfect author. I will not let your story end in tragedy. Keep walking, for I have gone before you. Every place your foot will tread, I have already been. Every trial you will face, I have prepared a way out. Every storm that will rise, I have set its limits. Every battle you will fight, I have declared the victory. Be at peace, you are covered by an invisible, mighty protection. No arrow of the enemy can pierce the armor of grace I have wrapped around you. No scheme of the evil one can overturn my purpose. And child, to the very end of the journey, I will remain your faithful companion. When you grow old, I will still hold your hand. When your eyes grow dim, I will still be the light for your steps. When your body is weak, I will still be the breath within you. And when you pass through the final doorway of this life, you will not enter darkness, but the radiance of my glory, where fear is no more, and my love and protection are complete forever. My beloved, you have walked through night seasons, learned to trust in the storm, walked in my presence and been kept by my hand. And now the time I promised from the beginning draws near. No longer a distant word, but a season of unveiling, when what was sown in secret will bloom in splendor, when the tears of prayer will become streams of blessing, when the years of steadfast faith will ripen into a glorious harvest. Do not be surprised when I tell you that everything you have endured had purpose. I have used every drop of sweat, every lonely night, every pang of pain to forge in you a steadfast soul strong enough to carry the glory you are about to enter. I never bestow blessing without preparing the one who receives it. You have been tempered in fire, so you can bear the light, shaped in hiddenness, so you can stand in brightness. Now what I sowed in secret, I will reveal in the open. This is the season when your soul blossoms. You prayed with tears and feared your prayers vanished into the void. But I gathered them, every word, every breath, every tear, and planted them in holy ground. Now the seeds are ripe. Like a vineyard after a severe winter, tender shoots are breaking through, not by your strength, but by the breath of my spirit. You sowed in sorrow, but you will reap in songs of praise. You have passed through trial. Now you step into restoration. My child, I spoke through the prophet, I will restore to you the years the locust has eaten, Joel 2:5. Today I will speak it again over you. The years that seemed lost were not wasted. The opportunities you thought had slipped away are not gone. I am the restorer of time, and I can accomplish in a day what would take a lifetime. What was stolen will be returned, not merely in measure, but multiplied. The promises you forgot I have never forgotten. The dreams you thought had died, I am bringing to life. The things you believed had disappeared, I am gathering to weave into the radiant tapestry of your destiny. When I say the season of unveiling has come, it does not mean a life without challenges. It means that from now on you will see my hand in all things. Where once you believed through the fog, now you will behold with your eyes. Where once you walked by faith, now you will walk with confirmation. Where once you prayed with patience, now you will sing with joy. You will no longer merely hear reports of me, you will see me act in your life. This is the moment you will understand why I made you wait so long. Delay was never denial, it was preparation. I have been aligning circumstances, arranging people, and refining you so that everything fits my perfect time. I do not only give blessings, I establish them. A blessing that comes too soon can make you stumble. One that comes in season will make you flourish. Now you are ready not only to receive, but to keep and multiply. Do not fear when things begin to move quickly. When I work, I am not slow. One wind can change the course of a life. One encounter can open a new journey. One moment in my presence can erase years of wilderness. Do not be alarmed when the old begins to shake. It only means the new is arriving. When I close a door, it is not to confine you, but to open a greater one. When I separate you from certain people, it is not rejection. It is placement into the exact coordinates of your calling. In this season of unveiling, guard your heart. With greater blessing will come new tests. Greater light draws more eyes, but do not fear. Remember, you are not the center of the light. I am. When my light shines through, you turn every gaze back to me. Live like a candle in the wind. It does not generate its own flame. It bears the flame entrusted to it. Let your light blaze and stay humble. Let my name be exalted in all you do. My beloved, remember, true glory is not in outcomes, but in communion. Everything I give, success, favor, influence, is meant to draw you deeper into my love. If a blessing pulls you away from me, it ceases to be a blessing. But if it makes you love me more, it is glory indeed. For the greatest gift I long to give you is not wealth, fame, or power, it is myself. My beloved child, in this season I will reveal things no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no heart has imagined. I will bring you to places you never dreamed you could stand, surround you with those I have chosen to strengthen you, and open doors that no one can shut. Yet in the midst of it all, keep your heart tender. Do not forget the nights you wept in silence. Do not forget the prayers whispered in the dark. Do not forget the lessons learned in the wilderness, for they are the foundation beneath this season of glory. When the season of unveiling comes, walk in gratitude, for thanksgiving will guard you from pride. Walk in humility, for humility will keep you from traps. Walk in love, for love is the flame that never dies. And above all, walk in communion with me, for that is the secret that preserves every blessing. As long as you remain in me, nothing and no one can steal what I have given. Know this, my child, what I am doing in your life is not only for you, but for many others. Your life will become a living letter written by the Spirit, through which others will read and recognize me. Your victories will become someone else's hope. Your healed wounds will become testimony to my mercy. You will not only be one who was saved, but one who carries the message of salvation. You will be living proof that I still move, still love, still restore, and still fulfill every promise. My child, this is not the moment to look back with regret, but to lift your head with joy. The old has passed and the new has come. Take a deep breath, for the air of a new season is all around you. I am calling your name as I once called Abraham to leave his homeland, as I called Moses from the burning bush, as I called Mary out of the tomb of despair. And like them, you too will step out of the shadows of yesterday and into the light of destiny. My dear one, when you enter this season of unveiling, do not see it as the finish line. In my kingdom, every ending is only the beginning of a deeper grace. Now I desire to open your eyes to what few truly grasp. My kingdom does not come from outside, it begins within you. This kingdom is not built of stone or gold or earthly power, but of love, righteousness, and peace in the Holy Spirit. When you know me not only as God above you, but as God within you, that is when heaven's kingdom is established in your soul. My kingdom is not a territory, but a divine reality, a realm where my will is done, where my heart and yours beat as one. When you live for your own will, you are outside. When you surrender, you step inside. The kingdom does not arrive through shouts, miracles, or outward power. It grows quietly in the transformation of the heart. When your heart is lit by love, your mind renewed by truth, and your will aligned with mine, that is, when my kingdom is born within you. I did not create you merely to receive blessings, but to partner with me in expanding the kingdom. You are not only a recipient, you are an ambassador. I have placed within you the seed of power and grace, a miniature kingdom where all that I am can be revealed. When you speak in love, the kingdom grows. When you forgive, it expands. When you live in truth, it shines. And when you pray, thy will be done, thy kingdom come, you are opening the door for heaven to touch earth. My child, many pray for the kingdom as though it were distant, yet they do not know it is already within them. Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Luke 1:7-21, "Wherever my rule reigns, there heaven is." When love conquers hatred, that is heaven. When forgiveness triumphs over bitterness, that is heaven. When faith overcomes fear, that is heaven. And when your heart rests in trust, my kingdom is manifest even now upon the earth. Beloved one, see the world through kingdom eyes. Where others see chaos, see opportunity for light to shine. Where others see collapse, see the birth of renewal. Where others see failure, see my hand reshaping all things. In my kingdom, nothing is meaningless. Everything is woven into the great tapestry of redemption. I cause all things to work together for the good of those who love me. When you begin to see through that light, you will no longer be shaken by circumstances, for you will know you live under the governance of grace, not the law of fear or lack. My kingdom is not religion, it is a relationship. It does not call you to perform rituals, but to walk in communion. In my kingdom, you do not merely serve God, you live with me, create with me, love with me, forgive with me, restore with me. The kingdom is not a place you visit on Sundays. It is the realm you inhabit every day. When you work faithfully, when you love the unlovable, when you keep your heart pure, that is when you are expanding my kingdom on the earth. Let this kingdom flow from within you to the world around you. I do not want faith to remain in your mind. I want it to become your very breath. When you wake, remember, you are a citizen of heaven. When you step into the world, remember, you carry my presence. When you speak, let your words build, not destroy. When you touch others, let your love heal, not wound. Live as a child of light, so that even in your silence the world will see me in you. My child, those who belong to the kingdom do not live to compete but to serve. They do not seek to dominate but to heal. They do not chase after recognition but to lift up my name. They do not crave earthly thrones, for they already carry one within the throne of peace. And the one whose heart is ruled by peace is the most powerful of all, for such a person cannot be manipulated by fear, money, or the hunger for approval. When you learn this truth, you will become invincible in the Spirit. My kingdom is a kingdom of truth, and in that truth there is no shadow. Let every word, action, and thought of yours be examined under that light. If deceit, selfishness, or concealment remain in you, the flow of the kingdom within you will be hindered. But if you choose to live in honesty, humility, and transparency, I will cause the river of life to flow freely through you. The kingdom cannot dwell in a closed heart, for I do not reside in darkness. Open your whole being to me. Let me reign not only in what you surrender, but in what you still hide. When you are entirely mine, the kingdom within you will overflow like a spring that never runs dry. My child, my kingdom is never in danger. No empire, no power, no storm can overthrow it, for it does not rest in human hands, but in hearts that know how to love. Every time you choose love over hatred, prayer over criticism, unity over division, you are fortifying that kingdom more than ever before. My kingdom does not advance by force, but by an unconquerable love. Beloved, I have not called you to be perfect, but to be one with me. When you are united with me, you will live in the effortless flow of grace. You will no longer strive to do goodness, will simply flow. You will no longer force yourself to forgive. Forgiveness will become your nature. You will no longer chase after blessings, for blessings will chase after you. The kingdom is not a burden to carry, but a life to enjoy. And as you dwell in that life, you will find that everything I have spoken becomes reality as easily as breathing. When your soul is aligned with my will, everything around you will begin to align as well. Your family, your work, your relationships, even the atmosphere around you, will mirror the harmony of heaven. You will not need to strive, for the peace within will ripple outward. When you speak, your words will carry power. When you pray, heaven will respond. When you walk, your footsteps will leave light behind, not because you seek miracles, but because you have become part of the miracle itself. Then you will see that true blessing is not in what you possess, but in who you are in me. You will no longer fear losing, for I am your portion. You will no longer fear loneliness, for you live in eternal union. You will no longer fear tomorrow, for tomorrow rests in the hands of the one who lives within you. My kingdom does not promise you an easy life, but it promises you an unshakable soul. Now, my child, go and carry this kingdom with you. Do not preach it only in words, live it in action. Let every place you step become holy ground. Let every person you meet feel joy, peace, and love. When you do this, you are expanding my kingdom upon the earth. And one day, when every knee bows and every tongue confesses that Jesus is Lord, the kingdom I planted in you today will be revealed in its fullness. Now the journey of your soul draws near to completion. You have walked through the night, learned to listen in silence, to believe in uncertainty, to love through pain, and to stand through the storm. You have entered my kingdom, seen promises fulfilled, lived in the light, and carried that light to others. And now I invite you into the holiest stage of all the rest of everlasting blessing, where your soul melts into my presence, where fear, effort, and striving cease, and only eternal life, peace, and perfect union remain. This is not the end, it is the fullness of life. For in my kingdom there is no such thing as ending. There is only transformation from form to form, from fading light to unending brilliance, from mortal breath to eternal life in me. I have prepared a place for you, not a temporary refuge, but the true home of your soul. There, every tear you have shed will be wiped away. Every question will be answered. Every loss will be redeemed with incomparable glory. You once grew weary under the burdens of this world. But now I speak to you as my son once said, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Matthew 1:1-8. This is the rest you have longed for, not the stillness of the body, but the peace of the soul, a rest untouched by time, unmoved by change. There you no longer strive to believe, for you live within faith itself. You no longer seek peace, for you abide in the source of peace. You no longer yearn for love, for you are immersed in love without measure. My beloved, I know you have wondered, what is eternal blessing? Is it a distant place or just a dream? But child, it begins now. In every moment you are united with me. Each time you forgive, each time you love without condition, each time you wait in silent trust, you taste eternity. For eternal life does not begin when you die, It begins when you learn to live in me. It is the moment you shift from mere existence to true being, from anxiety to rest, from fear to trust. Eternal blessing is not a reward for effort. It is the natural result of love. Whoever abides in my love already abides in eternity, for love has no beginning and no end, it simply is. When you allow my love to flow through you, without resistance, you become part of the infinite. I do not measure your worth by how much you accomplish, but by how deeply you allow me to love you. Eternal blessing is not an escape from the world, but a new vision of it. Those who rest in me still live in this world, but are no longer bound by it. They work yet are free from the obsession with results. They love yet are not afraid to lose. They give yet never feel lack. They live yet no longer fear. Death for death is no longer an enemy, but the doorway to wholeness. When you learn to rest in me, you will see the world transformed. The things that once stirred your anxiety will now appear gentle. The people who once wounded you will become teachers of compassion. The failures that once crushed you will become stepping stones for gratitude. When you are in me, all things turn to good for you. No longer see through the lens of pain, but through the light of redemption. You will realize that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. Nothing is taken, only reborn in a higher form. My child, this is the secret of eternal life. It is not the extension of time, but the awareness of eternity in every moment. When you live fully in the present, knowing I am with you, you are already living forever. You need not wait for heaven, for heaven has already begun in the heart that loves. Heaven is not a place you go to. It is a reality you awaken to. And when you finally see, you will smile, for you will realize I have never left you, and you have never been outside of me. Eternal blessing is perfect union, no longer I and you, but only we. No longer separation between creator and creation, between light and shadow, between breath and life. Your soul returns to its origin, the very breath from which it was born. And there you will know you were never lost, never wrong, never astray. You were simply on the journey back to the life that gave you life. My child, many spend their whole lives searching for happiness, but understand this: true happiness is not something achieved. It is the state of a soul that knows it is completely loved. When you no longer seek love because you have become love, you have touched eternal blessing. When you no longer pray for peace because you have become peace, you are already living in eternity. When you no longer need to prove faith because you have dissolved into faith itself, you have entered my fullness. Beloved one, eternal blessing is not the reward of the strong, it is the refuge of the surrendered, the home of those who have learned to let go, to yield, to allow me to lead. You do not need to know every answer. You only need to trust that I am the answer. You do not need to see the way. You only need to follow the light. You do not need to understand all things. You only need to abide in love. When you do this, your soul will rest like a child in the Father's arms, without fear, without doubt, resting in perfect trust. When the final earthly moment comes, when your hands release all that is of the world, I will take your hand. You will not step into darkness, but into my radiant light. You will not hear the silence of loneliness, but the symphony of countless redeemed souls rejoicing. You will not see loss, but the fulfillment of every promise I ever made. You will see those you love smiling and welcome angels, clearing the path before you, and you will hear my voice warm and tender, saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in little, now enter into the joy of your Lord." Matthew 2:5-2:1. This is not the end, but the overture of eternity. There no more sunsets, only an everlasting dawn. No more tears, only pure joy. No more separation, only eternal union. There you will sing a song the world has never heard, the song of the redeemed, the song of love, triumphant over time. My beloved, let your soul dissolve into the ocean of grace, where every storm is calmed and every question turns into praise. You need, seek no more, you have come home, and I, your God, declare, behold, I make all things new. Revelation 2:1-5. Step into everlasting joy, for this is the reward of those who have believed, who have loved, who have endured to the end. Eternal blessing belongs to you. Amen. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we may continue receiving the living word together, building unshakable faith and walking in the boundless love of God. Amen.